Okay, firstly, welcome. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because I watched a video earlier today by DrGhost Games that talked about the problems with World of Warships Legends, and it kind of struck a chord with me. And I've actually messaged him and I said, look, I'm going to talk about your video, what you said, and kind of put a counterpoint to it. So it's not a criticism. I'm not calling him out. I've known him for years. He's a good guy, produces great content. Do go and check him out on YouTube. The reason I wanted to talk about it is that he was talking about a number of things in the game that were a problem. The first of which was that the recent content, and he did run a poll on his Discord talking about how the game was getting stale, and that I think it was something like 60 something percent of over 100 people thought that the game was getting a bit stale, which I think is reasonable, and it's a measured criticism. He had a long conversation about RNG, and that shooting something broadside is basically driving people up the wall. And he, which I can understand why RNG would do that to somebody. RNG is one of those things that is almost a necessary evil in this game, because if you hit everything you shot at, it probably wouldn't be any fun. Yeah, Mr. Ghost definitely has an opinion, and Dr. Ghost has, and I haven't got a problem with that. I think everyone should have an opinion. He levelled a criticism at the devs that I don't agree with. Basically saying that they're no good. They're actually very, very good, in my opinion. And there are a few things and he was very vocal about the training rooms and the clans side of things, which I 100% agree with. So what I wanted to talk about was just give you my thoughts on all of those points and talk about some others as well. And if you're in the Twitch chat live, keep your powder dry, ask questions, make statements in response to what I'm saying. And if you're in the YouTube comments, I'd love to hear what you think. First things first, in terms of the content of the game and how we feel about it. Personally, I can completely understand why people think this game is getting a little stale. I think the content that they're producing, and they're producing it regularly, I think has been great. I think the tier 8 edition was a real boost to the game. And I think what they've been bringing in terms of additional ships, overall has been positive. But I think and this is Dr. Ghost's criticism, he was playing ranked and he said that the most recent ranked season was very much like Brawl. And it was, smaller maps, tier 3. Ranked has never really been my thing. Some people love it, some people don't. I think what he's after is more modes and ways to play the game, because I think to a certain extent, playing the same ships in the same way, there's only so much you can do. And we love making content, and we love talking about the game, and we love what we do. But I would agree that it would be great if they could add operations in or something like that, where there's an alternative. I mean, but if you equally look at the game and you think that there are probably 20% that are hardcore loonies like us, there are 60% who are casual, in inverted commas, who play it 2, maybe 3 times a week. They play it for fun. They don't really have any huge interest in the intricacies and the depth of the game and armor angling and penetration values, and they just come in and muck about in ships. And great. And then there's 20% who are newbies who come in, and they may stick around, they may not, but there's always that sort of turnover of players. And I've noticed with the community that people that were playing the game 18 months, 2 years ago, and I've been playing since the beta, haven't stuck around. People have gone away to go and play different things, and sometimes they come back after 3 months or 6 months. How's the game changed? The carriers are in. Oh, there's new German battle cruisers. These things are coming into the game. Carriers have come in, battle cruisers, The missions are different. The rewards are different. But what I have noticed over the last 3 years is that what was very much, and I hesitate to say generous, but in the first year or two of the game, there was Wargaming were giving more rewards to players. So there were more ways that you could earn doubloons or premium days or things like this without buying loot crates. Things like the early access battle cruisers for Germans, the way they limited their release, and it wasn't part of the recent campaign, was very noticeable and was something that I don't think was a good decision. But things like the Tier 8 being added to the game was a fantastic addition. The Musashi being the first campaign, being the next campaign ship, and kind of now making Tier 7s who were safe from the Yamato's big guns. I could understand why people wouldn't like it. But it doesn't mean to say that it's a bad game or that Wargaming are fleecing you. But I do think that the amount that Wargaming gives us has dropped noticeably. Yes, there's more content. Is it the right kind of content? I don't know. Do I play this game as much in my free time, in inverted commas, when I'm not streaming than I used to? No, not at all. My motivation as somebody with 180 days worth of games in this is completely different to somebody whose best ship is a tier 5 and they're trying to work through the game. I think, if anything, Wargaming should be focusing on supporting those individuals and those players to actually keep them in the game and encourage them to play more. And I think there's a trick there that could be missed. Do I think clans and training rooms are fundamental to the future of the game? No. But it would keep the hardcore player base happy. But are they the core player base that Wargaming are marketing the game to? No, I don't think it is. So is World of Warships Legends a free-to-play game? Technically, yes, but less and less so. It's a pay to progress. I think that's where it's getting to, and that doesn't fill me with a huge amount of joy. Will I stop playing the game? No. Will I still stream it as much as I do now? Yes. Do I think the Wargaming could be doing more to support people who are on the grind? I think that's fundamental. Do I think the devs are bad people? No, I actually don't think the devs have a huge amount of influence in terms of where the game is going. I think the community managers and the community contributors have no influence. No offence, Monk, Hive, you guys out there. Your influence is minimal. But you know that, and you don't do it for the kudos, you do it because you love it. And that's fine, fair enough. And the community managers do too. I think Final Boss has been great and is a great addition to their team. But I think that with the way the devs work and the way they're planning to introduce new ships, or certainly that's the anticipation that I have, I think the devs have a roadmap, and they're always, developers are always thinking 6 to 12, 18 months in advance. So what we're seeing now is they're not just short-changing people. I think there is a development plan that goes forward that is what they're pushing forward with the game. But I think there is a proportion of the player base that needs to be, that isn't being catered to, that could be. And I think what I'd love to see is some kind of game mode or something that's a permanent game mode. Maybe it's Brawl, maybe it's Operations, whatever it may be, that actually gives us an alternative to playing random battles. I'm not ever going to go in and play AI. I never play AI. I just don't do it. I never have. I know people do to get their missions done. I'm not interested. I'm not hugely interested in ranked, but I do like Brawl. That was good fun. And in terms of things like balance, things like RNG, if there is an alternative in this game to RNG, please tell me, because I haven't got a clue. I really don't know. It seems to be a big problem for people, but it's easy to complain about it and not have an answer. I don't know what the alternative would be, and I can't think of one. There's a lot of mathematics that goes into armor angles, into turtle back, into penetration, in accuracy and dispersion. I think hidden what's it called? Hidden factors like your vertical and your horizontal dispersion. I think things like that should be better known. I think there should be a way for us to have those. But I think in terms of the game, I think fundamentally it's fairly well balanced. But I don't think the devs are, as they were criticised, I don't think they're bad people. I think they're producing a great game that I love. Is it perfect? No. Could it be doing more? Yeah, absolutely. Did carriers upset a lot of people? Yeah, me included. Did destroyers upset a lot of people? Yeah, me included. Do I think there are some overpowered ships? A little bit. Yeah. But I can't fault their commitment to putting out content. You may not like the content in terms of ships and what's coming out, but that's subjective, not objective. And I think tweaks and balance changes to the game are all well and good, but I think there's some core content in here, aside from clans and training rooms, which I'd love from a very selfish level, and I really, really want it, that I think they should be adding. And I'd love to know what you think. So what do you think, guys? What should we be doing? Let's have a look at some of these comments in here. Right. Good Lord. Monk, Kev, everyone. You've all been so... Okay. Anything can be a problem in the game, but one thing that is not a problem, that is not, is the player base. Yeah, you can't... I mean, I think if you split the player base and you say, well, these are newbies and they're no good and my team's always rubbish. Weekend Warriors... The first day of the update, we all say it, we all do it, we all complain. Why the hell's he sailed off? Don't abandon your flank. There are lots of things that you can learn, but I do think there's a sea change at Wargaming when it comes to actually teaching new players, and I think that's something that they're trying to do. But you can only take a horse to water. At the end of the day, if you're a casual player and you're not interested, you're just going to do your own thing anyway. And I think fundamentally... it's a multiplayer game. You're going to have to accept that potatoes are potatoes. It's why we have potato flakes. Monk said, the game getting stale is subjective. RNG is certainly to balance out player skill. To a certain extent, yeah. And yes, some campaigns are mere and some are good. Kev says, yes, we need training rooms so we can all get together and play with those of us who want to play together without the potatoes. That's true. And we can do silly things and we can make great videos. I completely agree. They're doing their best to get rid of non-paying players. I don't think that's what they're actively trying to do, but as every former community contributor on the PC has said, Wargaming's in business to make money. It simply is. If they don't make money, we wouldn't have a game. We wouldn't be sitting here talking about it. We'd be playing a Ubisoft game or something. Training rooms are, of course, well discussed. There are concerns due to it showcasing a lot of game bugs. Yeah, that's fair enough, Monk. I understand that. Ranks doesn't get decent rewards. That would... and actually the rewards in Ranked and Brawl have got less, and that's part of the reason why fewer people are playing them. More modes cause issues to the game due to matchmakers struggling. I would have thought that... I believe that the player base is pretty healthy. But, yeah, operations will be lovely. But it seems to have been a really good addition to the PC recently. And I would love to see it, but... I reckon we won't see it for 12 to 18 months, if we see it at all. Whatever they gave us, Kev said, whatever they gave us in the last update wasn't worth the effort to do the rewards. Yeah, that's fair. Sifu says, I used to be able to pay for Admiralty backing with the gold earned from Ranked and more. Now it's not even close. Yeah, they don't give as much away. Completely agree with you, Sifu. They just aren't giving as much away, particularly in terms of doubloons and rewards. Astro says, the amount of dollars for a new ship is insane to me. That's very true. Kev said Musashi should have been the first one. Do you know what, Kev? I think you're right. I wouldn't disagree with that at all. I'm sure that somebody would have complained about it, but yeah, I think it would. I think you're right. Sifu says, I brought every campaign right up until Christmas. Now I have to save my gold for ships I really want from the campaign. Yeah, that's very true. Monk says, no early access creates a campaign was bad. Musashi should have been the next update. I've never liked early access, Monk. I've never liked the idea of it. I understand why they put it in the game to an extent, but I don't think it's the right thing to do. Sword campaign, anyone? You can't do it unless you get Musashi early. Yeah, looks like it, Sifu. Auction is a the thing about the auction is that that's very much for the 1%, isn't it? In my mind, and I mean the only saving grace of auction is that if you don't put in enough, you get it back. That's the only thing that doesn't make it really predatory. Um, Monk says CCs to me help convey the voice of the people. Yeah, I would agree with you. But also it is not equally directed traffic. I think you're not a mouthpiece of wargaming, and I would never accuse you of being it, or any other CC either. But I do think that they get more out of you, if you want my honest opinion. It's classed as free to play. In reality, it's not, because every campaign we had to pay for the free ship. It is a constant money dump. Yeah, it is. I'm relatively lucky that I can invest some of the very nice subs that you guys give me in supporting this, and I won't stop doing it, and I love doing it. STO is worth more than Wowzels at the moment. Fair enough, says Kev. Balance issues are a problem. Sifu says, I'm a player who doesn't buy stuff in game. I've been playing since the start. Yep, good man. People can see what I have and what they can get without cash. For the last year, I can show how little grinders are getting out of Wowzels. Orange is fine. It's the ship's citadels and thickness that cause issue. I think that's more of a problem at higher tier. I think what Ghost was talking about was broadside cruisers and just going straight through. But that's a fact of life in this game, and it's been a fact of life in the PC game since the beginning. I don't think there's anything they can do about it. Thanks, Jess. Saying devs are bad people is just wrong. I agree. I don't think it's fair to say. And if I'm perfectly honest, I think Ghost got carried away at that point. But I don't hold anything against him, and he's perfectly entitled to have his opinion. I think the art department need more praise. Yeah, the art department have done great jobs. Completely agree, Krell. Yeah, I mean, but that's the same in any business, Monk. Thanks, Drace. What did you put in Discord? Ooh. It's time for Wowzels 2 and fix all the stuff. Yeah, that's not going to happen. What will that be? Modern ships. Anti-ship missiles. That'd be cool, but not for this game. Potatoes is a term I hate in this game. It's kind of picked it up off the PC, isn't it? But yeah, good, bad, and average players, for sure. Jockey thinks Musashi is poop. German BCs are really, really good. Some of them, yeah. Kev says, enjoying the new German battle cruisers more than I enjoyed the Russian battleship line. I loved the Sinop and I regret them nerfing it. Auction is predatory because even though you get your doubloons back, you can't convert your doubloons back to money. Yeah, but you can't convert your doubloons back to money in any way, so that's not because of auction, is it, Monk? Just content and how the game is. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, okay, so that's my thoughts. Do I love this game? Yes. Do I think it's perfect? No. Is the community committed to playing the game into the future? Yes, but I think it's not about content at this point. I think their content flow and the way they update the game is really good. I think the regularity of it and whether you like the ships or not is kind of immaterial. The point is that they're continuing to do it. Look what's going on with Halo. They're extending Season 2 of a game which launched last year to March next year. No new content, no new nothing. Why would you stick around? You've got to encourage your player base to stick around. But I don't think they can do it just with content. I think they need to do something whereby to improve the rewards again. Because it does feel like they've been slowly taking the rewards away. And Sifu is a prime example. There's a guy, like he said, who hasn't invested a huge amount in the game, but just by grinding the game, he's earned the ability to get that Admiralty backing. The reality is that doesn't happen anymore. So, that, thank you very much for watching on the YouTubes. Thank you for listening to me on the Twitches. Thank you for your opinion. I'd love to hear what you think. Are you a hardcore 10,000 plus Legends player? Identify yourself as where you sit in that. Are you a 4 or 5 days a week playing? Are you a 2 days a week playing and you just play certain things? How do you look at it? What's important to you in this game? How much do you, not how much you invest in the game, but what do you think of the rewards in the game? But yeah, like, subscribe, click the little notification bell, whatever you want to do. Do go and check out DrGhost. He creates some good content. It's nice to have a counterpoint to these things. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the flip side.